Hello students, today let's discuss about chromosomal theory of inheritance. So after Mendel's discovery, we have seen that Mendel's work was not recognized by the scientific world due to certain reasons. And in 1900, three different scientists in three different parts of the world like Carl Correns, Van Schermark and Hugo de Vries rediscovered Mendel's work. And by 1900s what has happened is there was an advancement in the field of technology. The study of the microscopic techniques were improved a lot. The staining techniques were well developed by then. The chromosomes were discovered. The colored body is found in the cell. They were named as chromosomes. The concept of gene was also a little bit known by then. So with all these, two scientists or two biologists by name Theodore Boveri and Walter Sutton. Theodore Boveri, he was a German scientist or a German biologist, and Walter Sutton was an American biologist. Okay, so these two biologists, they studied the movement of chromosomes during cell division. How the chromosomes move during cell division. First year you have studied about mitosis and meiosis. So you should you know by now how the chromosomes move, how the chromosomes get separated during cell division. We have studied that. So these two scientists, that is Theodore Boveri and Walter Sutton, they proposed the theory of chromosomal theory of inheritance. And the chromosomal theory of inheritance, let us see what are the major assumptions made by these two biologists. The first major assumption is behavior of chromosomes. Behavior of chromosomes is parallel to the behavior of genes. Behavior of chromosomes is parallel to behavior of genes. This is the first one. First assumption. The second assumption made by Theodore Boveri and Walter Sutton is chromosomes as well as genes occur in pairs. Chromosomes and genes occur in pairs. The third assumption which they made is the two alleles of a gene. A gene has two alleles, isn't it? Normally, the two alleles of a gene are located on specific locus of, I hope you can complete this, specific locus of homologous chromosomes. And the last and the most important one, that is the pairing and separation. Pairing and separation of a pair of chromosomes. The pairing and separation of a pair of chromosomes would lead to, if I write here, I don't think that you will be able to see. Would lead to or else I'll first explain these three and then I will write the fourth point. Okay. So the first 3 points let me explain first. After that I will write the fourth essential. So the first point is what? Behavior of chromosomes is parallel to the behavior of genes. What does it mean? See, we know that chromosomes are always chromosomes are found in a cell in pairs, right? And genes are located on specific points on the chromosome, what we call as locus. The alleles, that is the alternative form of a gene, that they are called as alleles, right? The alleles are also found on specific locus of homologous chromosomes, right? So the behavior of chromosomes and the behavior of genes are parallel to each other, are almost the same, are similar. Then chromosomes as well as genes occur in pairs. Chromosomes are always found in pairs. The same way genes are also always found in pairs. The two alleles of a gene, where are they located? We have seen that in the case of capital T, small t, they both are found at the specific locus on homologous pair. So if this is a homologous pair of chromosomes, we find that the alleles, they are found at the specific locus on homologous chromosomes. So capital T and small t, or it can be capital T, capital T. So that is what is written here. The two alleles of a gene are located on specific locus of homologous chromosomes. And the fourth important assumption is, the fourth assumption was pairing and segregation of a pair of chromosomes would lead to segregation of a pair of factors, would lead to segregation of a pair of factors, means alleles, segregation of a pair of factors they carried. So these are the four assumptions which the two famous biologists, that is Theodore Boveri and Walter Sutton, proposed after studying the behavior of chromosomes, after studying how the chromosomes move, okay, during cell division. Okay, now this can be explained in detail. So, in a somatic cell, means in a normal cell, chromosomes always occur in pairs. So, in the case of human beings, let us take, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes, right? And we find that these chromosomes, they occur in pairs. Okay, now, the one of this homologous pair, one chromosome will be from the father and the other will be from the mother. That is, one is paternal and the other one is maternal. Okay, now during anaphase 1 of meiosis, so you have studied about meiosis. Meiosis consists of two divisions. Meiosis 1, which is reductional division, and meiosis 2 is equational division. So in reductional division, what happens? The diploid chromosome number becomes haploid, right? The chromosome number will be reduced to half the number. And in meiosis 2, by the end of meiosis 2, what happens? 4 haploid daughter cells will be formed, isn't it? Okay. Now, during anaphase 1 of meiosis 1, so which are the 4 stages? Prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1 and telophase 1. You know that. So, in the anaphase 1, what happens is the centromere divides. In anaphase 1 of meiosis 1, the centromere, the chromosomes, they separate. It's not the centromere divides, the chromosomes, they separate. In anaphase 1 of meiosis 1, the homologous chromosomes separate. Homologous chromosomes, right? And by the end of anaphase 2 of meiosis 2, what happens is the chromatids separate. So in anaphase 1, the chromosomes separate, and by the end of anaphase 2, the chromatids separate. Okay, the chromatids of each chromosome separate. And when the chromosomes separate, what happens? The alleles also separate. Hope this is clear. So these are the 4 points that you have to remember for the last point. Pairing and segregation of a pair of chromosomes would lead to segregation of the factors which they carry. Okay, so this can be explained like this, that is, in a somatic cell, the chromosomes are always found in pairs, and during anaphase 1 of meiosis 1, the chromosomes separate, resulting in the formation of 2 haploid cells, right? Each one will be having 1 chromosome. And in the anaphase 2, by the end of anaphase 2, what happens is the chromatids of each chromosome separate. The chromatids separate. When the chromosomes separate, what happens? The alleles also separate. The genes also separate. Hope it's clear. So now, from this, they compared the behavior of chromosomes with the behavior of genes. So the first behavior, as you all know, chromosomes occur in pairs. Genes also occur in pairs. Right? Now, second point of difference. Second point, when we compare the behavior of chromosomes with that of the genes, the second point, the chromosomes separate. They separate at the time of gamete formation. They separate at the time of gamete formation. Right? Here also, genes also separate during the time of gamete formation. Now, the third point of difference, that is, now when they separate, what happens when they separate such that only one of each pair is transmitted. One of each pair is transmitted to the gamete. This is the second point of difference. So genes also separate during the time of gamete formation such that only one of the pair, only one of each pair is transmitted to the gamete. One of each pair is transmitted to the gamete. Right. Now, so these are the 2 points, that is, they occur in pairs, chromosomes occur in pairs, genes also occur in pairs. The chromosomes they separate at the time of gamete formation. Genes also separate during the time of gamete formation. Now, what happens during the time of gamete formation? Only one of each pair, such that only one of each pair, chromosomes always are found in pairs, and one will go to one gamete, the other one will go to another gamete, such that each pair is transmitted, only one of each pair is transmitted to the gamete. Here also only one of each pair is transmitted to the gamete. These are the 2 points. Now the third point of difference. Third point of difference, independent pairs independent also the same under genes. That is, independent pair segregate. One pair segregate independent of the other. One pair segregate independent of the other pair. So these are the comparisons which were made by Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri. That is, first one, chromosomes occur in pairs, genes also occur in pairs. Second point, the chromosomes separate during the time of gamete formation such that only one of each pair, is transmitted to the gamete. In the case of genes also, they separate during the time of gamete formation such that only one of each pair is transmitted to the gamete. The third point of difference, that is independent pair. So the second point of difference we have studied in the law of dominance. So these 3 points are actually from the 3 laws of Mendel. This is actually an improvisation of Mendelism. This theory of chromosomal theory of inheritance is just an improvisation of Mendelism. So Mendel, from his monohybrid cross, he explained law of dominance, and from his monohybrid cross itself, he explained the law of segregation. So the first 2 points are from the first point, that is they occur in pairs, is from law of dominance. Second point is segregate during the time of gamete formation such that the gamete receives only one of each pair. So that is law of segregation. And the third point is, that is independent pairs segregate independently of each other. This Mendel explained with the help of his law of independent assortment. So this theory, chromosomal theory of inheritance, is just an improvisation of Mendel's basic laws of inheritance. Hope it's clear? Right. So if a question is asked, what is the Mendel's, explain chromosomal theory of inheritance, you have to write the first 4 points, that is assumptions made by Theodore Boveri and Walter Sutton, and then you have to write about the comparison of chromosome and a gene. Hope it's clear? Right.